Anyway, welcome back. And today, as I mentioned in the last video with him, we're going to do wheel bearings on the V-Strom. Now we're only going to do the front wheel bearings. Do you want to explain why we're only doing the front wheel bearings?
Because FedEx shipped them from Georgia to North Carolina to Georgia to North Carolina because they hate me. So
he wants to go home to New Jersey, which for some reason is where he lives.
Great state.
It's a terrible place. And basically, yeah, they delayed him by more time. Not Revzilla's fault, in fairness. It was literally just FedEx.
Yeah.
So these are all balls. The front wheel bearing is 25-1379. If it fits, you're going to find out in this video. And what we're going to do is just run you through basically taking the front wheel off real quick, which on this bike, thankfully, he does have a skid plate because otherwise I'd need to go buy a ladder to tie up the front triple, which will be a pain. It's probably what I'm going to have to do for the CB to do its forks because my headstock stand is not beef enough to get to, it's not long enough to get the V-Strom, so it is what it is. Gonna have to figure that one out for my bike at a later date because my skid plate doesn't weigh a metric ocean of weight, which his does. His skid plate's ridiculous.
For no reason.
It's for that lower center of gravity for racing.
Yeah, I'm racing this bad boy.
That's a lie, I made that up. But yeah, anyway, so we're gonna do this. It's really quick. Hopefully this will be a quick video. Knock them in, knock them out, job done. It's essentially the same thing for the rear wheel. If you want to do the rear wheel, if you're comfortable with taking off your rear wheel and you have a rear wheel stand, geez, that's a tongue twister. It's the exact same thing. Just don't forget you also have your sprocket carrier hub. You have to knock the bearing out of that as well and also replace that one. If you're doing all of them, I would recommend doing all of them at the same time. On his front wheel, he has the right-hand side, I think was the bad side. We'll figure that out anyway. And I'll try to show you the crunch versus the not crunch. And yeah, you'll see. So yeah, we'll do it now.
Smash that like button.
We don't say that on this channel. People can like it if they want to, but also do, please.
Smash it.
Smash it. So, over here on this side of the motorcycle, what you can see is two pinch bolts, which we'll have to loosen. Then we have to take out our axle. Very straightforward actually to get the front wheel off on this. We'll also have to pop off the calipers that we just put on new nice braided lines on and take them off. So calipers off, pinch bolts off, axle out. And also when you're putting this back together, always put your front wheel back down on the ground and nice and secure before you torque this so you don't twist everything. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is zip the calipers off, which as far as I remember, they are 12s or 14s. I'll tell you in 2 seconds. And they're 14s, you urchin.
I got a terrible angle. You're gonna hate when you see that.
Did you get my butt crack?
I got your butt crack.
Yeah, I love that actually. I really enjoy seeing my own ass crack.
That's what gets the money and the views.
I don't think it does. I don't think anyone wants to see that. It's definitely not going in the video. But yeah, the brake caliper bolts are 14s. And then what I do is I'll find my little hangy boys and we're gonna hang up his calipers. Please do not film my ass crack.
That's what people want to see.
I don't think they do.
I'm trying to give them what they want.
Put in the comments if you want to see my ass crack. So yeah, you're gonna whip out these two 14s. See how these weren't like welded?
They really, yeah, they just
when
right
we first got this bike and opened up stuff, they had Loctite on these. So then when you get your caliper off, you want to hang it up. I just use little hangery boys and hang it up like that. You just basically don't want pressure on this. That's it. So then our pinch bolts, I think are 12s or 10s. I'm gonna guess they're a 10 because they look like a 10. 10. So then you want to undo your, ooh, just did a spicy reversey on me. And then basically you want to just loosen these out until they're pretty much like comfortably free spinning. Like so. And then we can take out this, which when Rafe moves his ass, I can get my... Rafe organized this. This was not me. Props to him.
What are we looking for?
H19. You didn't. Safe.
Oh, praise the Lord.
Which Lord?
That would have been fun. Deep Christmas.
Father Christmas?
Merry Chrysler. Yeah.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
So then, once you have the calipers off, pinch bolts loose, you want to release your axle, which I had torqued accordingly to 100 Newton meters. So then when you have your bike secured, either precariously or not precariously, preferably, you can withdraw, ooh, that's terrifying, your axle. Oh, not that terrifying actually. Look at us, we did a good job. Put your axle somewhere safe. That one was greased, so we will have to re-grease it. And then roll out your, yeah, you'll have to jack it up a little bit more. Roll out your wheel. Generally, you'd have this up high enough that you could get out under the fender. So then on this bike, your left-hand side has a spacer. How you know it's your left-hand side is your axle comes in that way, and the axle actually acts as your right-hand side spacer. So then what we want to do is get 2 blocks of wood and set them up so they're resting on your wheel rim, which keeps your brake disc off the ground, which is what you're going to want to do. And next what we want is we're going to pull out this dust seal here to give us access to knock out the bearings. So I'll be back in a sec. Sometimes these old dust seals come out really easy, or sometimes they come out violently, like so. Now we can check this wheel bearing. This side is good, so it's the other side is bad. But basically what we're going to do is get a drift or a punch, put it down in there and knock the other wheel bearing out once we take out the other seal. Oh yeah, it's that one. Oh, yeah. Hold on, everything be quiet. I'm gonna try to get it on my mic. It's crunchy. I don't know if the mic picked that up, but yeah, that's not how you want the wheel bearing to sound.
Oh.
Probably should have done that in the first place. All right, so next what you want to do, I don't know what you better see, but you want to basically get one of your punches, and can you try looking there? So I know you better see it, but in there there's a little spacer, which I'll show you in a sec. And you will shove that over to one side so that you land down onto the inner race, which is this guy here. Oh God, that's so crunchy, it's horrible. Of the other bearing. And then basically just knock it out, smack over smack. So there's one bearing plus spacer. This is the spacer that goes in the middle of the bearings, helps size them. And this is the reason we did this. This kind of, so I don't know, can you see the side to side movement there? Hopefully you can hear that, but any side to side movement in a bearing is very, very bad. So that one is complete trash. And this will let us actually get down here a lot easier. And there's the other one, which I'm not sure why it's covered in whatever that is, and that actually does have side-to-side play as well. So both your bearings are going. With the kit, these are the bearings we got. What you want to do is find yourself something to drive it with. Thankfully these are 32. You can kind of work around and drive them in. Some people like to freeze their bearings before they knock them in. I don't think it's necessary in this case, and I'll show you why. So also, most of the time, what you want to do, well, not most, what you want to do is make sure your seat's really clean. I'm actually going to go grab a rag in a second. And then what you want to do is basically the side that, for instance, this one was harder to get out, but you also want to have a look. This side has a hard seat right here, where that outer race is going to sit up against. Can't go any further, so we're going to drive this one in first and then space off it, because you want to leave a little bit of looseness on your spacer always, And your spacer shouldn't be like wedged into the bearings. Now, thankfully, this wheel is actually very, very clean. But you want to just basically make sure that there's no junk sitting around where you're about to put in your bearing. Then you want to make sure this goes in straight. This is sometimes the harder part. If I wasn't using all my blocks of wood currently, I would usually tap this in kind of with the flat of the wood. But this time I'm just going to be careful and watch it. Because as you drive it in, you'll be able to see if you're kind of not going in straight, for instance. And then once you get it in to the actual bore, it's pretty easy. So don't ever hit this too hard. Just like tap. And then once it's home, you'll actually hear that sound profile change. Well, that feels much better. Have a little comparison for yourself, Rafe. Finger one of those, and then finger that.
Oh.
See the difference?
Smooth.
Yeah.
It's real smooth.
There you go. So then, don't forget, when you flip it back over, so then we want to do the same thing on the other side. Don't forget your spacer. Your spacer literally just drops in. Nice and fresh. So when you start to get close to the spacer, you want to just be careful because you don't want this to be absolutely welded. So the spacer has a little bit of movement behind it still. There you go. We're aligned with the spacer, but we're not crazy tight. And then the easiest bit is you grab your dust seal, and your dust seal you just press into place with your fingies if they want to cooperate. One of these days I'll break my thumbs doing these. I have seen it where people will also grab the old bearing and use the old bearing just to tap those into place. So kind of up to you what you want to do. Then just check your bearings. That feels much better, much more secure. And now we can sling this back on the bike. That's it, it's all done. So we can end it there. You don't need to see the wheel going back on. It's the same as it coming off. Just make sure you torque your front wheel to 100 Newton meters. And yeah, told you it was pretty easy.
It wasn't too bad.
Just a couple of things. We'll swap back to that camera to do it. So that is that. We'll slap the front wheel back on. Like I said, reverse of it coming off. Axle through. Torque your axle, obviously, once your wheel is back on the ground to 100 Newton meters. Put in your pinch bolts. The pinch bolts are like at 25 Newton meters. I can't remember. Look it up yourself. Put your calipers back on. I don't personally torque caliper bolts. I just put them to guten tight and make sure there's anti-seize on them. And yeah, get in here, you.
Oh, baby.
You see how easy that is?
That wasn't bad at all, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
as long as you have the tools.
And that is the big thing, to knock the
dust seal.
No, bearing, but the bearing back in, you do need something the correct size. But like run down to your local Harbour Frights, or if you're in Ireland and don't have a nice Harbour Frights, order them online. I have a big set of big sockets anyway, just because you need them for lots of things, like front sprockets, rear wheel nuts, etc. So, and the thing is, this is something that I have had fail in the past, a rear wheel bearing. I can't say those words together.
It's been a while.
On a trip on my CBF 1000, completely collapsed. And let me tell you, to get out a collapsed wheel bearing is so much more difficult than just knocking them out like this when they're still together. So check them periodically, change them before they become bad. It's a lot more pleasant. That is recording. Good. Because if you let it go to the point where it's miserable, then it's miserable. Yeah.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Would you try this job yourself?
I would try this job myself once I have the stance and a bigger torque wrench. But yeah, doesn't seem too unachievable.
No, it's anyone can do this.
Yeah,
genuinely. Just don't overhammer them in as well. You want to just tap them in to the point of like you notice that tone change and you're done. And then when you're putting in the second one, just keep tapping it in until you're like, oh, I'm at my spacer now. Don't hammer it into the spacer, because the spacer will actually put pressure on that inner race, and then you could cause brand new problems that you were just trying to fix. So yeah, but the nice thing is bearings also aren't expensive. What was your front wheel bearings, like $20-something?
Yeah,
$20-something.
if that.
Do we have it over there? Yeah, it was $57 total for all the rear wheel bearings and the front wheel bearings. Yeah, straightforward, not expensive. That's it. If you watch, thank you very much for watching. As always, a very special thank you to all of my patrons. I really appreciate all of your support. He's not a patron. He kind of just came here and used me.
I'm a bum, baby.
But it's okay. You're a nice bum.
Cool, spicy.
I'm being arrested now. Sorry, Niall. Niall's gonna be jealous.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tell Niall sorry. You made him jealous.
I'm sorry, Niall. I won't take your place.
He's gonna be very jealous. Yeah.
Shoot.
Niall is my one true bae. And yeah, that's it. Thanks again for watching. If you've any questions on any of this process, let me know in the comments, or him. He might answer you, maybe. Who knows? Yeah. Until next time. Thanks again. Adios. Outro crew. Take it away.
What's the scariest malfunction you've had on your bike? And how did you solve it? And was it hard?
Stop being good at this.
Let's go.
You're supposed to panic like Barry.
Oh.
Hatter.
I mean, uh-oh. What to say?
It's too late. It's too late. You already ruined my whole day.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, outro crew. There you go. Is the scariest malfunction you've ever had on your bike? Because apparently he's good at asking these questions now. Bye, outro crew.
Bye, outro crew.
Ruined the whole video.
I'm so sorry.